So you may ask yourself, why am I drinking something out of a little coconut?
Why are you drinking something out of a little coconut?
What's in there?
I have no idea what the hell's in here.
But
I will take a sip of it.
You didn't try it yet?
I haven't even tried it yet.
There's a whole way to do it.
yeah, let him tell you all about it.
So you missed like the whole intro, and
All right, so
we had like a whole ceremony. We're sitting on the floor. We
What?
got all tribal. Yeah.
goddamn, I missed the whole circle
You
jerk,
missed
dude. Goddamn, dude. All right, tell me all about it.
So what you're about to drink is Kava, and that initial reaction you had when I said, "Are you going to drink some Kava with us?" and you said, "I ain't drinking that shit." It's
I didn't even say it like that.
It's all good. It's pretty normal. Like, who wants to drink some mud water out of a coconut shell? Like, I understand. Yeah, give it a smell.
Yeah, look.
So when I was getting tattooed in Hawaii, hold on, don't start the party.
Ruining it.
Yeah, there's
It smelled good, and I couldn't help myself.
there's a whole thing we do. There's a process to it. So when I was getting tattooed, like in Hawaii, we would drink it. It's good for pain relief, good for anxiety. That's why I made these coasters that say "Drink Kava, get tattooed." We have Kava bars all over Florida, so I like to pass them out. It's a great alternative to alcohol. Mm-hmm. You can drink all you want, and you can drive home that night. You're fine. You can wake up ready to go. So it's more like in the health and wellness spectrum than like let's go get fucked up on alcohol kind of stuff. And so yes, it's big. It's from the South Pacific. It's from a pepper tree. And when I was getting all these tribal tattoos on my neck and stuff and back of my head, we would drink it, and it's good for anxiety, inflammation. It's like the perfect complement to getting tattooed. What they would do it back in the islands is they have Kava ceremonies, and I like to continue that tradition. I do it at like yoga festivals. I'd love to start bringing it into tattoo shops and tattoo conventions. Obviously, like the yoga world, it's going to pick it up fast,
Yeah.
But it's all about like creating community and bringing people together, and it's a heart opener, so it makes you talkative. So that's why I go to Kava bars all the time by myself, and I'm not afraid to just sit down and start ordering some shells, and people just start talking to you, and it's a very different vibe from being on alcohol. Alcohol is a depressant, and
I feel like alcohol makes me so talkative.
that's true. Yeah.
It makes me talkative.
Yeah.
And it makes me loosey-goosey. What would be the advantages other than, you said no hangovers, right? I can drive home with it.
Drink all you want.
But does it give me like a buzz?
It does give you a little head buzz. It numbs your tongue. So Gabe already felt the effects of it numbing his tongue and his mouth. And you can imagine it kind of probably numbs a little bit of your body. And I think it's a great feeling,
It's like you took weed, coke, and alcohol and took all the bad things out of it and put it in a juice.
With no hangover.
With no hangover, dude.
So I was
Like,
explaining
what the fuck?
the spectrum to them if you want to start talking about all these levels of crazy drugs, right? So let's go up to like meth and all the crazy bad ones and heroin, put them on top, right? And then you start working your way down. Cocaine's a little bit lower, and then you come all the way down, and then there's weed, like way down here, right? And then there's actually coffee, which people forget is a drug,
and nicotine.
Caffeine's a drug, yeah, all those. So I would put Kava somewhere in between the weed and the coffee. It's nothing too intense. It's nothing crazy.
Yeah.
But I enjoy it. It's not addictive, and it's just a great like social drink to have with your friends.
Well, damn.
So what we do when we drink it out of the shell, so usually I'll make it a circle and I'll straighten it in the cheesecloth, and it's in the big bowl. I had this little travel version that I brought. So we're gonna hold up our shells,
okay,
and we'll do a Fajian bula like we originally did we sat in like circle. It was pretty fun, and so in Fiji, and you can see this in the movie Endless Summer 2, which I named my shop after the movie Endless Summer, where they're chasing the perfect wave.
Dude, I've watched the first one. It was one of those movies that I watched over and over when I was like a teenager. Exactly. Like it was so good. I was like, I want to live that life.
Right?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So that first one is like mind blowing because they're like discovering these surf spots for the first time ever,
Untouched.
There's like another one called Endless Summer Revisited where they show some of the original pans where they pan in Endless Summer 1 and then they show it again and now it's all high rises and
Wow,
Yeah,
that's
it's
wise,
wild.
man. Yeah.
And you probably can blame a little bit of that on that movie for opening up the world to these surf spots. But that's old, you see those guys are like greasers, are like from the late 60s.
Yeah.
Driving around with the longboards, and they're flying in to these countries that don't know, they've never even seen a surfboard. And then they're just chasing the summer season around, and they're surfing and they're having the best time ever. So Endless Summer 2 now comes out. This is many years later, and it has Kelly Slater. Kelly Slater's from Cocoa Beach, where I'm from.
Oh, shit. I didn't know
Best
that.
surfer in the world.
Yeah.
And so he goes to Fiji with them. Surfs the waves in Fiji. When they come in, they have a Kava circle, Kava ceremony. They're sitting on the floor, and you'll see them clapping. So that's what I would love to do with you guys. We did it earlier. You do 3 claps. You raise your shell. You say bula, and then you throw it back. You don't have to throw back the whole thing. We did it earlier. But if you want to sip it and enjoy it, you can just take a little sip, and then 2 claps. And then I finish it off with a little, just to spice it up. I added that part in.
Good shit. All right. So
You guys ready?
is that what we're doing?
Yeah, let's do
All right,
bula.
let's freaking do it.
So let me tell you what bula means. Yeah.
Bula.
Yeah, keep it down. So bula means to a long, healthy life.
Okay.
And that's what I love about this. This kind of separates it from alcohol. When alcohol, you would say cheers. And with Kava, you say bula. So to a long, healthy life is what we're gonna be celebrating right now.
I like it.
So starting with 3 claps. You guys ready?
Ready, player. Join us if you're going to clap.
Here we go. 1, 2, 3. And then we grab our shells, raise them up, and we say,
Bula.
I'll save a little bit. 2 more. And then party.
That's great, dude.
Yes.
Man, so how do you would tell us you're a yoga instructor as well.
I'm a yoga instructor as well. Yeah.
How long have you been doing this?
So I've been doing yoga for a long time. I was into martial arts for a long time, where I was doing both, and I was getting hurt a lot, and almost lost an eye. So I've definitely focused more on the yoga. And actually becoming a yoga teacher has to do with tattooing, because I was always doing yoga at the tattoo conventions. Do it in the gym in the morning, right? So people see me. If you've been to the tattoo conventions at the gym, it's usually not too many people. It's usually a select few of tattoo artists. Most of them are sleeping off their drinks from the night before. But I see all these people all over and over again. And they know that they're going to find me in the gym, and I would just start doing yoga moves, and they would see me and they're like, "Oh, what was that? Can I do that move?" And I would put them in it, and I would teach them some flows and some sequences, and get them in some arm balances, and start taking pictures. And people love when you get them in a cool arm balance or headstand, and then post that picture, right?
Yeah.
Tag the convention, tag them. Other people see it by Saturday. Hey, you guys are doing yoga in the morning? I want to join, right? By Sunday, pretty much full yoga class of all the fit fam at the tattoo conventions.
That's awesome.
Yeah. And then of course it doesn't take long for the promoters to start catching on. You're tagging them, and you're like, oh wow. So you know who the first person that really got excited about it was Derb. Very healthy,
Very athletic.
very
Yeah,
athletic,
big guy,
black belt,
Yeah.
And it's not hard sell to for the jiu-jitsu people. They all do at least 10 minutes minimum of stretching before you get into jiu-jitsu. Mm-hmm. So he hits me up. He's like, I want you to teach at Hell City. He's like, I'll promote it. We'll get it going. I was like, yeah, let's go. I'm excited. Only problem is I'm not a certified yoga teacher yet. I'm just loving yoga, and I'm just teaching to my friends, and we're having a good time. But I don't realize that yet. So I think I'm ready, and I put together a sequence, and I do it in my backyard, and I invite my wife and my other yoga teacher friend for me to teach them. And we do it in the backyard, and I write it all out, and I memorize it, and I put them through the flow. It's my first true sequence, and I was really excited about that part. And then I asked them to critique me at the end, and my wife said, yeah, everyone's going to enjoy that. And I played music, and it was fun. And then my friend, who's actually the professional yoga teacher, is just like, you do a lot of crazy stuff. You got to think about who's going to be in this class. Like, who is going to be in this class? Is this open to the public? And I was like, yeah. And I was like, I didn't think about that. It's like, usually it's just my gym buddies, you know? Now it's like anybody can come off the street and do this. And I'm not certified and I don't have insurance. And, you know, so she's like, you have to think about injuries and you can't put everyone in these headstands. And I was like, you're right. You know what? I got to cancel this. I'm going to get certified. I'm going to do it right. And I'm going to call Derb, cancel. I'll tell them I'll put it for the following year and I'll come back as a certified, insured, legit teacher. It makes more sense. So I tell them that. I go to the show. So they put a lot of effort into promoting that I was going to be there as a yoga teacher, but they didn't really put the same effort into canceling the class. You know? And so people were coming and people were looking for it. And, you know, throughout the day, people were like, I was looking for that yoga class. What happened? And I was like, yeah, you know, next year, don't worry. I'm going to be a certified yoga teacher. And this one guy comes up and he's like, I drove 50 miles and he's got a cane and he's kind of hunched over. He's like, I can't even tattoo anymore on my back and blah, blah, blah. He's like, I was hoping you could fix me. And I was like, well, that's the reason why I didn't teach this class, because I don't know what to do with this guy.
You know? That guy,
Yeah, but now I do. You know, now I know all the modifications. I've been certified and recertified, and I've done all these different styles, and I've been really heavy into it for like the last 7 years.
Fuck yeah, that's fucking awesome.
Yeah, that's a lot of time into something.
Before we get too far up ahead, and for the guys that are just listening in, and those that don't know you, let them know your name, where you're from, how long you've been tattooing, and what kind of tattoos you like to do.
So my name is Mark Longnecker. I'm from Cocoa Beach, Florida, and I've been tattooing about 30 years, and that started in Key West. My first job when I got to Key West, Florida, was working for Jimmy Buffett. And at that point, I wasn't really into that kind of style artwork, but I was excited to work for a big name. Mm-hmm. And then I kind of had to learn why people love Jimmy Buffett so much and make myself learn, because it was like a puzzle to me. And I was like, I don't understand why you take this like kind of reggae influence with this like kind of twangy country music, and how does that become something cool? And once I did learn what it's all about and like why people are parrot heads and why people chase this guy around, my artwork suddenly became a lot better, you know? And then I was able to put my passion, my heart, everything into this art. And I've been doing this like tropical artwork style ever since. I call it tropi-style.
Cool.
Tropi-style. Mm-hmm. I like that.
Yeah.
I coined the phrase on Ink Master. Was never talked about before. There's tropi-style tattoo page on Instagram where I feature all these other artists all over the world that do this style artwork. So it's not just me, you know.
That's awesome, man.
And,
awesome.
That's what but it's also very influenced from Japanese tattoos. I've always been big into that. So kind of borrowing a lot from those backgrounds and finger waves and some of the cloud swirls, but just a lot of tropical imagery.
That's rad.
Yeah, that's cool.
I always say like the difference when I do like a tropi-style sleeve, you're going to have blue waves with like seafoam green and turquoise and the white water. And if I'm going to go traditional Japanese, it's all going to be black and gray with background.
Water.
Yeah.
I grew up I didn't grow up in Florida, but I grew up in the Caribbean, and then I lived in Florida for a while. And I feel like that's one of the things that now kind of like really does jump in my memory of like the kind of tattoos that people get down in either the islands or like down in Florida. People like really nice, colorful stuff.
Yeah.
Which is crazy because then they cook them in the sun.
They do cook it in the sun.
They get cooked in the sun, you know?
So then you got to learn how to pack color into these like sunburnt, like leathery, salty dudes, you know? And I've been doing that for the last 30 years, and I have a formula, you know?
Oh, I'm sure it requires one.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody's asking now, what's the formula? What's the
What is this formula? Oh, man. So 30 years ago, man, fuck. I'm like, 30, that's an extra fucking, I'm like, I feel like I've been doing this forever. It's 20.
Yeah,
an extra full, that's like a whole career, another 10 years later after that. How'd you get into tattooing?
So I moved to Key West.
Yeah.
Took that job working for Jimmy Buffett originally, doing the artwork. And this is actually a pretty fun story. So the guys that, my friend, he's Jimmy Buffett's godson. And his mom like runs Margaritaville down there. And the dad did all the silk screening and all the embroidery. So a lot of the merch, you know, and other companies too, but obviously mainly for Jimmy Buffett stuff and local people. So my friend would wear my t-shirt designs. I was already doing a lot of t-shirt designs. I was selling them at raves and stuff in college, and he would wear them home, and the parents noticed, and they're like, you know, who's doing these shirts that, you know, has like a cool new look. And at this time, Jimmy Buffett's like clothing is very, you know, color pencil-y or airbrushy. It's kind of old school looking. It hasn't really caught on to like 3-color separation or 5-color separation, or like, you know, everything I do, I build in Photoshop at the time, and everything's super clean and its own screen. And so I had a really good clean look, and so they hired me. They wanted me to work for their art department. So that's what got me to Key West. Then I had to learn to love Jimmy Buffett, and that's what got my
learn to love this.
That's what got my excitement for the tropi-style. And then I was so when I first got there, they said you have 1 week to stay at our house, and then you gotta move out, which I really understand now, because you know, couch surfing can really be a problem down there. It's really hard to find a place to live. So you definitely have to be very firm with your boundaries in Key West. You know, it's like, so I thought it was a little crazy for me to, you know, I'm already broke, but I had to be out. And so my friend, we had been going to a local bar that was just in a hotel right around his house there. And it was the last night, and he's like, did you find a place to live yet? And the mom was like, you find a place to live? The dad, you know, kind of hounding me. I was like, nothing yet, but don't worry, I'm going to leave. I'll figure it out. And he's like, you want to go to the bar again? And the guy at the hotel bar was just giving us free drinks. So I was like, of course, you know, I don't have any money and about to be homeless. Let's go. You know? And so we started drinking there, and he's like, what's going on, Mark? And I was like, yeah, I'm about to be homeless, and I don't know what to do with myself. And he goes, well, just, he'd already invited us the night before back to his sailboat that he was staying on. And he says, just come stay on my sailboat. You know, I'm going to leave town in the morning. You can stay there. And it's like, perfect. All right. I'm so glad I came out here tonight. And he brings us back and shows me all around. And now I'm going to stay there. He's like, I'll be back in a week. And that week went by. He never came back, you know, and then another week went by, and I was like, what's going on with this guy? Do I get a new sailboat? And I realized he didn't ever own the sailboat. He was just like renting it. And then another week went by, and you know, before I know it, I'm there for like over a month, and I've met everyone on the marina, and they've kind of clued me in that he was like a local drug dealer guy. And I think he like took a run up to where he's from up north. I watched his car get towed away. I was like, oh yeah, he's not coming back.
He's not coming back. Yeah.
I was like, he got popped, you know.
Shit.
It's like, all right, so this is my sailboat now, all good. And you know, people on the marina were digging me, and I was getting along with everyone, so it seemed like perfect. Like, I'll just hang out here, and I'm really living like this Key West tropical life, you know. It's
Dude, you already got the pirate look.
it's like I'm living like a Jimmy Buffett song at this point.
Oh man.
And because that's the whole thing. Jimmy Buffett, you know, wasn't born and raised in Key West. He's a transplant too. So it's like, that's when I started really understanding what this is all about. It's like, here I am, a Jersey boy that went to art school in Savannah College of Art and Design, is now like living this full pirate tropical life, and living on a sailboat, and you know, I was doing graphic design at a graphic design studio, but then a hurricane came. You know, it's kind of the thing that you don't really think about if you're not from Florida, especially back then. And everyone's tying their boats down and preparing for the hurricane. I don't know how to do that, so I'm just like going to wing it and stay on this boat, which you don't do.
Oh shit, this sounds terrifying.
Yeah, so I'm on the boat, and it's rocking back and forth, and I'm trying to sleep in there that night, and I'm like, oh, this is a bad idea. And everything I own's on this boat at this point. And eventually it gets picked up and smashed into the dock.
What?
And now I'm like kind of on an angle. And I was like, all right, this is crazy. And they're probably going to call the owner of the boat, and he's going to have to fix it. So I have to get off of it. As a matter of fact, I'm going to get off right now in the middle of the hurricane. So I'm like throwing all my stuff onto the dock, the smashed dock, and some of it's falling in the water, and everything I own. And I eventually get the stuff out and what I can. So I take one more look around this boat before I leave. And I was like, is there anything else I need to take? And, you know, I kind of have my moral compass is telling me, don't take anything that's not yours, right? But I'm also in a pretty bad situation, and I'm about to be homeless again. And I was like, well, what about these guns? You know, like the guns, I don't think the guns belong here. I I don't think this is the owners, which I found out later was not the owners, and it was the right call, morally, I guess. So I took the guns, and I was like, maybe this will help me out. And I go to this house where everyone's partying. I've been going there like every other night too. And I really made good friends with these guys who are tattoo artists and piercers, and they all live in this fun, crazy house, and they party all night. And I go there, and I was like, hey, the boat's destroyed. And of course, they're having a hurricane party. And I say, can I live here? And I want to live with you guys. And they're like, well, it's already like 3 or 4 people in each room. Where are you going to live? There's no more room. I said, well, what about that laundry room? And they said, oh yeah, laundry machine don't work. I was like, well, I'll take that. I'll move that stuff out and I'll make it a sick room. And it really was, because now I have my own door, because I had a door to the back pool. But they said, well, how much money do you have? And I said, oh, I don't have any money, but I have these guns. Right? I don't need.
I'm just thinking of Frank Reynolds on it. They start blasting.
I don't need these guns. It's the last thing I want. And they're like, yeah, they're all hippies and dreadlocks, and they're like, we don't need guns. But one guy spoke up, and he was like the cool drug dealer guy hanging out. It's like, I could use some guns.
I could use these guns.
All right. And I was like, cool. How much money you would give me for them? He goes, I don't have any money, but I got all this ecstasy. And I was like, all right, give me that. So we made an even trade, give me a handful of ecstasy. I looked at all the roommates. I said, now can I live here? And they all took some.
Yo, this is wild, dude.
Yeah. And then, they're all tattoo artists. So then that's basically my intro to tattooing. I'd already had a few tattoos in college and thought about it, but now I'm living with tattoo artists, and I'm hanging out at their tattoo shop, and I'm drawing tattoos, and I'm getting tattooed a lot. And we went to the Miami Tattoo Convention, and that's what really sold me. Once I could see what it's like to be like a sought after tattoo artist, these were the old original tattoo tour conventions.
Yeah.
So we went up as like a shop trip, and I saw like Guy Aitchison for the first time and Paul Booth, and I saw like, I was a graphic designer. I was like, I've never seen people like circling a graphic designer, watching them do graphic design.
Yeah.
It was like 3 deep at a bar trying to get a drink just to watch, Guy Aitchison tattoo. It was crazy. Yeah. And I was like, I want to be one of these sought after tattoo guys. Like, now that I see this is what I want to be.
Dude, it's so similar. Like when I started kind of like my tattoo journey, it wasn't until I went to my first tattoo convention, and it was here at Roseland Ballroom. And
I've been to those.
There was like just people from all over the world. And I was like, wow, this is what I want to do. Yeah, I do want to do.
They were pretty special. You got to imagine back in those days when there's only 1 or 2 a year,
Yeah, it was a big deal.
I saw everyone that I had already been looking at in the tattoo magazines. They were all in the same room.
That's rad.
Yeah. A badass tattoo artist named Jason out of like Boston, Texas. Jason from Great Wave Tattoo. Jeez. Japanese tattooer.
No.
Just Jason?
That's the problem, is I'm trying to remember the last name. I'm gonna tip my tongue.
Jason.
So I lived with this guy named Jason and Christian Bennett. They both became badass tattoo artists.
Yeah.
It's cool to see like none of these guys from the beginning fell off. They actually
kept going,
became the top of the food chain, real deal tattooers. Like a lot of those people in those beginning part of my career
kept going,
became something. Yeah,
that's awesome. Man.
Aaron Kane came down at one point. I was like blown away. I watched him. So Aaron like hit out in Key West. He was like so sought after in San Francisco. People were flying in from all over to get sleeves and biomech from him. And this is a crazy story. He just wanted to go back to being a walk-in tattoo artist. And so he's like, I'm going to go hang out with my friend Lou at this other shop called Paradise Tattoo. I was at one called Goldie's Tattoo. But Paradise is still there. And so Aaron Kane flies down, and he's just doing walk-ins. He's just like, I just want to do mindless tattoos that I can just draw and do and be done with and not have to like think about these huge sleeves. And I was like, what are you talking about?
What do you mean?
This is all I want to do with my career, is become what you were. Why would you go backwards? This makes no sense, but it didn't take long, and like dudes were flying in from Japan and getting 3-day sleeves. And that was the first time I saw someone get a 3-day sleeve,
Shit.
4-day sleeves. And So I would go sit and watch him, and I was like, yes, I want to be just like you, you know? He was like a huge inspiration.
Freaking Aaron Kane, dude.
Yeah.
I'm lucky to still have one of his machines upstairs.
I think if anything, a lot of like people nowadays would just think he just makes machines.
Just a machine
yeah.
builder, yeah.
You know,
I have an award that he sculpted.
incredible artist.
Oh, that's badass.
yeah, that's cool.
Rad.
Yeah.
Wow.
He's quite the sculptor.
Yeah.
Man, I read something. It was a comment actually, and it was on one of the videos with Pim, you know, and it was about how they're like, oh, we love to hear the stories of older tattooers, but you know, like why doesn't the work, like, you know, the work looks old or it feels dated or the work doesn't look like it's gotten any better in like 20 years, dumb shit like that.
Right.
But I get it. I get what they're trying to say, you know, but there's also, I think, value in the stories that, you know, people share like that. But why do you think that some people do manage to break through those plateaus and keep kind of like over time, keep pushing and growing, and some people kind of manage to just kind of stay stuck?
Right. It's a great question. So, you know, I always say, especially to younger tattooers, after tattooing for 30 years, it's like all you want to do, especially me, like in the beginning, I just wanted to, like, I wanted my peers in the tattoo world to respect me, and I just wanted to become somebody, you know, wanted to become relevant.
Yeah.
And it's just so hard in the beginning, and nobody's giving you the time of day, and it's like, what do I got to do? And I was just working my ass off. I got, you know, some magazine interviews and just slowly working my way up this mountain. And then, you know, once I've been in a bunch of magazines, that helped. And then like my name felt like it was something. And then it's like, well, nobody cares about magazines anymore. And then it's like, now everyone's talking about tattoo TV. And then just like, I started getting mad. And I'm like, well, you know, I remember the first time I saw like Ink Master Row at tattoo conventions, I would get mad. You know, I was like, why are these guys so much more important? And like Ink Master Row is like, everyone's going over there and buying their merch and hanging out and watching them. And I'm like, I've been tattooing 2-3 times longer than those guys. Like,
yeah.
I put in all this work. Why aren't people coming over here and looking? And I'm like, okay, starting to sound that old grumpy guy, right? Like, you got to be careful of that.
Yeah.
That's when you start plateauing. Because I heard that my whole career. There's older guys that were older than me that were saying, you know, it's the internet killed tattooing. The tattoo magazines is what killed tattooing. The tattoo TV is what's killing tattooing. So it's you either start getting grumpy about it and plateauing and getting forgotten about, or you start evolving, right?
Yeah.
So you got to evolve. And it's evolve or die in this industry. It's so important. And so I was like, can't beat them, join them. I'm getting on TV, you know, and I got on TV, and I got to be on Ink Master, and boom, I helped my career. And it's like, you just keep trying to stay relevant. You keep trying to be somebody. And like, you get this final feeling like, okay, I've become somebody, I'm relevant. But guess what? Everyone else is coming up too, right behind you. And it's like, so the hardest thing of becoming relevant is staying relevant.
100%, dude. That's one of the... Fuck, man. I feel like in the past couple of years, I've decided that it's like, you know what, like chasing that, like it's exhausting.
It's very exhausting.
It's exhausting. And frankly, it's not really that rewarding. It's rewarding in the beginning because you're like trying to make a name for yourself and to, you know, be relevant and to get the respect of your peers and to have like, people that you looked up to and that you know admired know you on a first name basis and share, you know, like a different, you know, experience of being an artist and now being like a counterpart, you know, to everybody else. But overall, I don't feel like it's something that like after you reach it, it's not necessarily something that's like, all right, you did it, you know? But it's like...
You don't get a time to relax and sit back, okay, I made it.
Yeah.
Now I just get to tattoo my signature on people. Like,
you do.
Wild title. Like, oh, he got to do it, but
yeah,
you gotta... My friend Aaron said, he says, tattoo industry is a freight train. and that thing's moving fast, right? And you got to stay on it. And if you get off for a little bit, it's just going to keep going and leave you behind, right? So you got to keep evolving. You got to keep trying the new stuff. You can't be screaming loyal to the call. You can't be like, fuck iPad. You have to like do all this stuff. And so I do, and I do my best to stay on it and stay active and go to the conventions. I was telling him I went to still do a convention a month, and like I feel like once I stop that, I feel like, well, then I'm not seeing who's winning the trophies. I'm not seeing what's new and what's cool and what's hip. And sometimes I do want to slow down, but like the main part of me tells me, no, keep going. You're not ready to slow down. I'm 53 years old, and I know there's an end to this thing soon for me, So it's like I got to go all or nothing for at least this next 10, 15 years.
That's awesome, brother. That's awesome. I found a lot of value into kind of going back to what kind of made me fall in love with tattooing, and then that was just kind of like, my personal quest of bettering myself, right? Of like just me against me. And then also of the environment, right? Like the camaraderie of like being with these guys and having these conversations, and just the daily kind of vibe of just being in a shop with people that I really like and that I want to be in, And I think that if you're lucky enough to be in a shop like that, cherish that, because it doesn't last forever. Yeah. Cherish it and protect it, because it doesn't last forever. So like, I feel like I keep going back more to that. And like, before I started doing a bunch of tattoo conventions and traveling and all that stuff, and getting to know people from like the worldwide tattoo community, right? I tattooed just here, New York City. Right. And a lot of times I would travel and I would talk to people about like New York tattooers who were like top of the chain tattooers, right? And they're like, oh, I don't even know who that is. Yeah. And I'm like, what? And then I've realized that like, at least places like, I guess like New York, maybe like San Francisco, and maybe like other like little places like that have their own little like tattoo microcosm.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I can tell you straight up, most New York City tattooers could give a fuck about who won a trophy at a convention last week, bro.
Right, it's true.
Yeah. Like they don't care, bro. Nah. They're living in their own little tattoo community bubble, and everybody is very aware of what, like, people know the shops, people know the good tattooers, where they're moving and all that stuff, but they're so disconnected from like the rest of.
You think that's just New York City though?
I think so, man. I mean, I guess maybe that's just my experience, right? But I feel like a lot of, I would say like bigger cities where there's like a lot of like, there's already a ton of really good tattooers just in that city, like they don't really have to go far to find like a bunch of other places.
I would argue that most tattooers, especially the ones that really don't care about conventions at all, they don't care about who's winning trophies either.
True.
Right?
That's very true. I looked up this tattooer who's one of my favorite tattooers, dude. Tim Biedron. Do you know who that is? Mm-hmm. Incredible illustrator, tattoo, just phenomenal. And I saw that he moved to like maybe like outside of Portland or Washington. I don't know, somewhere where it's like in the middle of nowhere. He already tattooed like outside of Chicago in kind of like a small place. And now he's even in a smaller place, it seems like. And I feel like very few people would know who this guy is. And he's like just chops, bro, like drawing chops, the tattoo chops. The guy can just crush, dude. Insane artist. But he's just loves to like just the craft, right? Like he just loves to draw. He loves to paint. Probably not a very social person, you know?
Silently crush.
Yeah, just silently crushing tats, bro. And like, there's something beautiful about that, Of
course.
In the 30 years that you've been tattooing, has there been a moment or two where you were kind of feeling like you were fading away and wanted to call it quits?
Oh, definitely never felt like I wanted to quit. No, it's always been this like passion, this fire inside me that just wants to just go nonstop. Yeah.
It's pretty good.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. I felt like maybe around 10, 12 years in, something was pulling me away. Mm-hmm. And not that I didn't love tattooing anymore, but there was a part of me where it's like, there's other things out there that are piquing my interest. I was really into woodworking at this time. I was like, I could kind of do like some furniture building and not have to leave my house. I could just sell furniture. So I thought about like, let me just stop tattooing for a little while. Let me see if I could do some woodworking. And the more that I got into like that mindset of stepping away from tattooing, the more I saw myself not really putting in a lot of effort into the drawings that I was doing. And it wasn't until I took a step back and I looked at my drawings and I was like, wait a minute, I know I could draw better than this. And like, that was the motivation for me to get back into it, because I saw myself doing things that I was well above what I was producing. And it kind of like lit the fire under my ass again. But I'm proud of you. For 30 years, you never felt anything pulling you away. That's pretty good.
No, I mean, I guess the question to really put it on yourself would be, if you had $1 million, right? If you got gifted $1 million, would you still tattoo the next day? And would you still have the fire? And
in this economy, I'm gonna have to say, if you had $10 million, I'd be like, in this economy, I'd be like, all right, I got $1 million, but I gotta still go to work, bro.
True. I mean, I would think I could use this $1 million to really become a better tattooer. I'd think about it that way, and just keep and be around the best tattooers and keep pushing myself and just getting after it.
For sure. I think, that's a good question, though.
I like what Jeremy was saying last week, that he only tattoos because he loves it. He's got a separate job that, he's set with money. So even if he has a tattoo for free, he'll do it because the money aspect is not even a little nugget of why he tattoos.
You got to have that attitude. Except it's the opposite for me. It's like, if I'm not tattooing, I'm gonna lose my house and lose my.
I mean, I feel like all of us are in that same.
Yeah, we're in that boat. But I think, man, that would be kind of rad though. If I'm like, you know what, I don't really have to tattoo, so bodysuits only.
Man, right?
Real
Like,
selective.
Do whatever you want.
like,
For free, bodysuits only. Any commitment, you need to come blank.
little tattoos. Don't even bother.
Don't even bother. I'm looking for people with commitment.
Yeah.
It should be kind of rad.
That would be. That's a great idea. So when we get rich,
Yeah, when we do it.
and then all of a sudden we don't have to tattoo anymore, I'll still want to tattoo.
I'll still
'cause
wanna
it's
do
still-
it.
It's still inside of me, but I like that. Bodysuits only.
Only, bro.
That
People
fire for bodysuits, it kind of is, I don't see that anymore either. It's like when I was coming up, it's like we were looking at Horiyoshi, we were looking at these people. Like when you stand in front of your 20 back pieces, and now it's like, I was like, I need to become one of those guys. And it's like, that's all I wanted to do was do sleeves and back pieces and these large scale pieces. And I feel like that's kind of fell off too. Now you want to do a tattoo that can look good on the screen when you're scrolling, right? You can't really, when you're scrolling through and you see my sleeve and you see the 4 pictures of the arm, it's like, are people really going to blow it up? Or are
Most
they going
of the time they're not.
No, are they going to go to the next one that there's boom, a nice finished piece that takes up the whole screen?
And they'll linger on that.
Yeah, it's like kind of affected how people people are not trying to do sleeves as much, and that's all I was going for. I spent like the first 10 years chasing that dream. Like, I need to be able to do big, large scale tattoos, and I'm there, and I'm excited. It's definitely not bodysuits only. It's definitely not sleeves every day.
Yeah, of course.
I mean, I feel like I've done hundreds of sleeves, but it's still, and the way things are now, I'm like, for years I was only doing full day appointments, and then I'm like, well, maybe I'll do half day appointments too. And now it's like, and then I draw these smaller ones, and I'm like, you can book these, and I'll just book you out at 2 hours. So I've definitely gone down to smaller tattoos, and I don't look at it in a bad way or like, oh, I'm regressing. It's just like, you just got to keep hustling. You got to keep tattooing. And I'm just happy to tattoo every day.
Oh yeah, man. And I think even with everything's like very cyclical, in a sense. Like, for a little bit, you get people that want to get big tattoos, and it's like, oh, we're gonna go back to small tattoos. Then we're gonna go to micro tattoos. They got that. I feel like that's slightly going away. Slowly.
Yeah.
I feel like they're starting to get a little bigger.
Regrets are setting in.
Dude.
Finally.
Oh
I
man.
think people might. I think I did start giving across the attitude like, oh, he's too good for these smaller tattoos, which I never really was, or never really wanted to put out there. I just want, if a small tattoo comes in and I have a walk-in artist just waiting to make some money, they're getting it, right?
Yeah.
And so it's like, until everyone's tattooing in my shop, and then nobody can handle the next walk-in, and I happen to be done the piece I was working on, then I'll do the smaller tattoo. This weekend at the convention, I'm not fully booked. So I'll be happy to take any size, any tattoo, any baby mama name, whatever.
Anything, yeah.
I'm ready. I'm like, that's what tattooing's all about. Like, especially, when I came up, you learned how to do everything.
Yep.
Yeah.
I think
I like that. Decoding what's coming off the street, and just like throwing you a ball and just being like, oh.
I mean, shit. I mean, like you just said, Aaron Kane went somewhere so he could enjoy that.
Exactly.
So he could enjoy doing that. Like, there's something fun about like somebody walks in, you have no idea what they want, and you're like, I'm gonna figure it out. Draw something cool for them and whatnot. I feel like it's rewarding.
Yeah.
So now you have a lot of people that just specialize in one thing from the beginning. So, I had my apprentices, I always put them through like everything. You got to learn how to do all these styles. And I had one guy kind of fighting me on it. And this guy was a pretty badass painter and had a huge following. At this point, he'd already probably been selling paintings for like 10 grand and stuff, and has a big following for his style of art. And he told me from the beginning, he goes, I just want to tattoo my artwork on people. And I was like, well, that's not the way it is. You got to learn how to do lettering. You got to learn how to do this tribal that was big back in the day, and you got to learn all this stuff. So I was like trying to make him learn it, and we had a falling out towards the end. He's like kind of a hippie kid, and it was a stupid like argument over. He was buying me recycled paper towels, and I wanted the bounty. And but I think it was just a reason for him to leave. And he's like, you know what? I'm just going to go back to painting. And of course, like that didn't last long because he has all this new knowledge of tattooing in his mind, And he's right there. And so of course it didn't take him long to pick up a machine, and he started doing his own tattoos. And, they weren't that clean at first, but eventually they got better. And like, that's all he's ever done. And he kind of proved my theory wrong,
Yeah.
And eventually he came back and did a guest spot, and he's like, trying to show some gratitude for everything I taught him. And when I went to go pay him his check, he was like, you know what, just keep it. It's all good. I owe you that, So I've seen a lot of people that come up like, I think Big Knees was only wanted to do lettering.
Just the lettering, yeah.
And then
wanted to do lettering.
I just saw him make a video that now he wants to branch off and do Japanese, So there's been so all these things change, and it's, I see people just going into realism. Obviously, it's very popular, and you skip everything. And it's like a realism artist, I feel like, are they going to learn anything about Sailor Jerry? Are they going to care to know about the history? I think that's also important. And if we don't keep passing that down, the ethics and the history, and everyone just wants to specialize or go into an easier route, like what's the simplest, easiest thing I can learn? Okay, this quick, fast tattooing of just line work, boom, and I can figure that out in 2 weeks, and then I can start making money. And then and everyone starts doing that, and no one's getting apprenticeships, and no one's like passing down all the knowledge and the ethics and the morals and the values, then it's all going to be lost,
Yeah.
Absolutely. Which is fucking sad.
Mm-hmm. It's getting corporatized, like in every aspect of,
Well, since it's such a quick low entry point to be able to get a machine and start tattooing, and like you said, like you don't need that much knowledge to get a machine and put a needle in it and be like, all right, I'm gonna draw you a little heart on your arm, and like the people that are just doing just little fine line stuff, I'll just do a little heart, give you $50.
Easy tattoos are like some of the most popular tattoos right now.
Yeah.
And then you add that with everything being, it's easy to learn how to tattoo. It's easy to get the stuff. So everything's easy. And it's like, I'm kind of excited for when people are like, when it's exciting to get very complicated, very intricate, very like you need to do your homework kind of tattoos again, you know, because those people are gonna probably have to go back to the drawing board and have to relearn some shit, you know.
Yeah.
In a way, I think it's actually more respectable for the guy who just wants to scratch on somebody than your apprentice who was a painter is like, no, I just want to tattoo my stuff and do like the realism or his illustration stuff. Because I think the guy who's just scratching, I think he loves tattooing. Whether he's doing it for the right reasons or in the right way, he just wants to tattoo for the sake of tattooing. But the realism guys, they want to do their art.
I want to do my art as a tattoo.
I think there's a big difference.
There's a difference. And man, I've seen 2 instances of that, you know, where sometimes that can go really bad and the person just ignores every rule that tattooing just has because it's a medium with rules. And then there's also people that I've seen beautiful, like painters that change their painting style to kind of vamp it and make it look like, oh, it's their style in a tattoo way where it actually works.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. It's like, because I think that's the right way. I think Sean Barber's like a perfect example. You know, somebody that's amazing painter, but then you see his tattoos look like tattoos with his kind of vibe, you know?
Yeah.
Man.
Well, I'm lucky and I feel a lot of gratitude for all the clients that I have. And I do feel like the majority are getting the tattoos from me, that the artwork that they like that I do, you know, and I'm very happy for that. And, you know, but there's still always going to be somebody like, I want to challenge you, right? You were on Ink Master, you can do anything. It's like, well, Ink Master, that was a TV show.
It's a show, man.
Right?
It is a TV show.
It's like, you know, even the judges specialize in something, you know, it's like we all specialize in something. If you want the best tattoo out of me, you probably should get what I've focused my whole career on doing, right? But, you know, if you want me to go out of the box and try this for you, I'm down too.
It's such a wild concept to ask somebody outside of being on TV. Like, oh, I'm going to challenge you. Let me see if you could do this for like a permanent tattoo. You're going to have the rest of your life.
I want somebody to come in this episode of Ink Master. I came to challenge you at your shop.
I really want to take you out of your comfort zone.
Yeah. Oh man.
Start talking in their Dave Navarro voice.
Yeah. Oh man. Why did they do that though? Man, how was Ink Master for you after you said it was really good for your career?
What season were you on?
I was on season 5.
Okay.
Did you watch it?
I didn't watch season 5.
Okay. So I would say it was the hardest thing I've ever done in my entire life.
Fucking hard. It is.
Yeah, and I was not prepared. I thought I was mentally prepared. I asked a lot of my friends that were on it and like tried to do my homework. What I really probably should have been doing is watching every episode and studying how it works and studying these challenges. But I was a little bit overly confident from being at tattoo conventions and winning trophies there. So I was like, well, I've already competed against these
like
people.
this.
Yeah, it's just like this. It's not like that at all, right? It's not like going to the convention with your convention piece that you're going to try to win tattoo of the day. No, that's not it. It's like, what can we do to make you fail? You know, it's not interesting to make it the Mark Longnecker show and do everything we can to make you do a good tattoo. It's what can we do to we mess with your sleep, we'll mess with your food, we'll mess with, you know, all these people come against you. We're going to find things out about you and use that against you. It's like everything against you, and then you still got to prevail.
They want to see you, you know, be an underdog, you know? They want to see you like come up out of the ashes and be resilient. But yet it makes for good TV.
I feel like there's every season where I see somebody who doesn't struggle at all too. There's like at least one person. Most of the people, when you look, like if you look at my season, and people always will tell me like, oh, I loved you on your season. You were so chill. You were so cool. I was like, if you think that super stressed out version of me was chill, like come like chill with me in real life. Because when I watch it, I see the bags under my eyes. I see the stress. I can feel the tension. And yeah, it was hard. It's like I did the best I could under these circumstances, but none of those tattoos are in my portfolio.
Right.
You know, and you know, on your season, the one guy got to do every single tattoo. He got to do his own style, and they're all beautiful tattoos. And it's like, I would have never gotten away with that, you know?
Well, that was annoying. You know, that was annoying. And overall, like, you know, most people that watch that season, everybody felt like this is kind of bullshit that, someone can come to McMaster and just do their own style of something. I was like, I get it, but that's not what this is supposed to be like.
Well, the style was pretty sick.
It was good. Yeah, that's what I mean. You can't shit on it. You can't, because ultimately you can't shit on a good tattoo, dude. Mm-hmm. If the tattoo's good, you're gonna be like, it ain't what it's supposed to be. But
was that the only time that's ever happened in Ink Master history?
I think it was the most at that point.
It was the most, I would say. Yeah. I would say it was the most. I think, and also in the challenges were made to be in that way, where it was like there was not like a style restriction, or the challenge wasn't a style. It was more of like a theme.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And did I hear you say on one of these episodes that you guys all stayed in a hotel?
Yeah. We didn't have to dorm, which is rough. That adds to your psyche.
Huge difference, because it was nonstop. The cameras were always on, and people were messing with me in my sleep, and the lights, they would control the lights and the AC, and it's like, that's a big part of it. If I could go back to a comfy hotel room every night, I think it would be a very different story.
I think so. And even within my season, I think that there's people that probably would have done way worse if they would have been in a situation like yours, where they didn't have the time of like, okay, I'm gonna go back to my hotel and recharge my batteries so I can feel okay later. If you're constantly have to be on because there's either competition that doesn't let you relax because they're constantly pushing your buttons all day long, So I feel like that makes it a lot more difficult to play a game like that.
Oh yeah, it was nonstop the whole time.
I would say you're playing a game. Play a good game.
I was there, basically the whole summer, which I'm proud of. I'm in every episode. So that's like the one thing I'm very proud of. But can I say I was kicking ass and it was the Mark Longnecker show and everyone was praising me? No. It was, I was getting torn down on every single tattoo and, every way that anyone could come after me. I also felt like there's a target on my head being like the super chill surfer, zenned out yoga bro. Mm-hmm. It's like, well, if the guy that screams and throws a chair every episode does it again, who cares? But if we can get this guy to snap, that's TV gold right there, right? Let's figure out how to push his buttons.
Yeah, you could see them on their whiteboard just right. We're gonna break him.
There's like a little control room that I accidentally walked in at one point where Andrea and everyone is in there, and I still love you, Andrea. And but they all have they're all like talking and they're feeding, like the judges have
they have little
earpieces. So that's one thing that I think a lot of people don't understand about it. So they're getting like, no wonder they sound so witty and they have all this great little comebacks and things to say because they're getting fed all this great stuff, and I saw that and I was like, whoa, this is the control room behind the curtain. It's like Wizard of Oz shit.
Yeah.
Wizard of Oz.
That is definitely a way to see it. But
how long did you film for?
All summer.
3 months, 4 months?
Yeah, 3 months.
Yours is what?
Mine was like 2 months.
2 months?
Yeah.
I saw
it shorter.
I saw a comment on the preview for this season. Mm-hmm. Actually, a couple of people were saying it. They were like, I want the old version back where it was much longer. I feel like these new seasons are just way too short.
I mean, I think there's the same. Like the length of the show's the same, but the shooting schedule is a lot more intense. You're shooting way more. You're getting less days off, more shooting days.
Oh, we never had a day off. We had one day off.
Exactly.
We had 4th of July off once. And
but how many your season was only like what, 12 episodes maybe?
Yeah.
And what'd you start with? How many people?
We started with 15, I think.
And what about yours?
18.
Started with 18?
So it's probably 18 episodes.
Yeah.
You didn't have double eliminations? Mm-mm. No? So in my season, the first episode, 3 people went home.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. Which, when they started doing stuff like that, there was one season where they were like, half of you guys are going home. And you're like, what? In the first episode? Like it became like a thing of the show of like, we're going to put all these people and then we're going to send them right home.
All right.
all that work.
It's like Beast Games. They started with 1,000. The first episode, they dropped 500.
500, dude. Yeah.
But that guy that gets sent to him with the other 6 or 8 people still gets to write as seen on Ink Master on their banner.
Yeah.
That's rough. I wouldn't tell nobody. I wouldn't tell anybody. Man.
But it is bragging rights. You know, my season, they told me that 80,000 tattoo artists tried out. So just to become one of those 18, you've definitely you made it, you know?
Yeah.
Wow.
I mean, it's a, you know, you're lucky to get picked out of like so many people try out to do that stuff. So like you had to have so many combination of things to get picked. But ultimately, I don't necessarily think that like to be on Ink Master, the main thing that they're looking at is not your tattooing. You know, I feel like they're looking at the whole package, your personality, and your tattooing, of course, is there, but that's kind of like everybody needs to be able to tattoo, but really your personality.
You know, when I went to the first ever, I heard there was a casting call, and it was in Miami, so I drove down there, and there's this huge line. It's like almost like people like don't even, oh no, they see me, you know, it's like ashamed to be in this line. Like, but you know, I recognized half the people in there, and I showed up with my surfboard. And everyone's like got like tattoo portfolios, dressed in all black. They all look the same, you know. It's like they're trying to get a tattoo job.
Yeah.
And people started like making fun of me, like, "Oh, what you bringing your board for? You're gonna paddle out in the casting call? Like, you think there's gonna be waves in there?" And I said, "I brought this surfboard that I painted so that I could look different from all you motherfuckers like dressed in black, right?"
Nice.
And it worked. Like I stuck out way more than these other people.
Yeah.
Smart.
Very smart, dude.
And that surfboard ended up on my season. It was in the back on the wall.
Oh, that's so sick, I guess.
And then I raffled it off for charity.
That's awesome, man.
Nice.
Shit, now I want to go back and watch a little bit of the older Ink Master challenges.
Is every season streaming?
Yeah, well, it's all on Paramount Plus.
It's on Paramount
Yeah.
Plus.
All right,
So my season was the first season where they switched it up. Season 1 through 4 is all like the same basis, and then my season was the first theme where they made it Ink Master rivals.
Oh.
So you got to go against your rival, the person you hate the most in the tattoo industry.
Who is your rival?
So my rival is Ryan Eternal.
Oh, shit.
Yeah, and he already got picked before me, and he's a good-looking guy, and they put him in a biker vest and made him look like he's a badass.
He's a badass looking dude, yeah.
Regardless, like you don't have to do too much to make him look badass, but they made him look more badass, and made him and they asked him who you want your rival to be, and I was his first pick. Thank God. You got to imagine, like, do we really hate each other that much if he's going to give me this amazing opportunity to
Yeah, right.
But I did put the work in, like I said. So I'd already gone through some casting calls, and I got really far, and I was almost going to be on the season before. I had to do all these Zoom interviews, and they were like telling me we're like down to the last 24. And I'm like, oh, I'm so close, and then they finally like, yeah, we had to cut you, but we really love you, and we just want to find the right season for you. And I was like, oh, so discouraged after all this work. I was like, I know this Hollywood, don't call us, we'll call you.
Yeah.
They're never going to call me. But, I already made a really good impression. So that as soon as he said my name, and the other thing that really helped, I think, is I made a painting of Dave Navarro sitting in a tattoo chair, and it looked like the Virgin Mary, and it says, only Dave Navarro can judge me. This thing went viral, and people don't realize that I painted this before I ever went on Ink Master. And so there's prints. I made prints, and then I made T-shirts. And so when I posted the painting, I said I'm going to be making shirts of this, and Dave Navarro reached out to me, and he says, I heard you're going to make shirts with my picture on it.
Oh, shit.
And I was like nervous, He reached out on Facebook, and I was like, oh, is he gonna sue? Is he gonna do a cease and desist? Like he's gonna I'm selling a picture of his likeness. Like, what am I getting myself into? And but then I was like, you know what? Dave Navarro's not just gonna reach out to me on this is fake, And I was like, is this really Dave Navarro? Come on, I'm having a hard time realizing. He goes, give me your cell phone number and I'll FaceTime you. And then next thing you know, I'm FaceTiming Dave Navarro. So I was like, man, it's so cool that you're like part of the joke. And he's like, I can laugh at myself. It's great. I love it. He's like, you can be taken both ways. So it's like, people that hate me can like that shirt. People that love me can wear that shirt. And it was true. And he goes, I just want a shirt. And I was like, all right, I'll send you some shirts. And I sent him the original painting. And then, so he was excited. He put it up, and then he sent me a video back of them all critiquing it and just tearing it apart.
That's funny.
So that probably should have been a clue of what it was to come. You know, like he's just so excited that I gave him this, but they tore it up and they said I don't have what it takes to be an ink master at the end and all that.
That's so funny.
That's so funny.
I think
man.
at this point, so that kind of made everyone very familiar with me there. You know.
Right.
Wow.
Right.
So as soon as Ryan Eternal says, I want Mark Longnecker, boom, I'm in.
Now, were you and Ryan Eternal like legit rivals, or was that just for the show?
Not really, but but we have, we worked together. We had some bumps in the road, and so I would kind of use that and channel that. And it was the story that I said of what our rivalry was is real. I said that he got to judge at a tattoo convention, and I lost, and the guy that at his shop won. And it's true, and I was very mad about that. So I kind of whenever they would all right, this is a big thing and you better be mad at him, Mark, stop being so nice. And so I'd actually channel that energy and be like, remember when I was so mad at him, and I would so I'd jump into that and we would use that in all the scenes. But there was definitely a lot worse rivals, like real rivalries on my season.
Interesting.
So I think I remember just seeing clips from that and remember how that looks intense, dude. And then you guys are just living together. You're living with your rival, dude. That's fucking wild.
Yeah, you could be sleeping in that little IKEA bed right next to that guy.
Oh man.
Who would you pick for your rival?
Oof. I don't know.
So you got to think. It's you might think of a rival, but are you going to give them
the opportunity
of their life to have this amazing commercial about themselves, all over TV?
Oh man, I think I'd be stuck trying to pick a rival.
Yeah.
Who would be your rival?
There was a guy that I worked with that I'm not even going to say his name. I don't think he watches this, but I'm not going to say it. But I worked with this guy a while ago that we always butt heads. And he was one of those guys where he only tattooed maybe a couple of years longer than I have, but he was already kind of stuck in his ways, never really progressed, but he just had this mentality that he was just so great. And dude, I hated the way he talked to his clients. I hated the way that he treated his girlfriend who also worked at the shop. It was just not a good look. And I would occasionally bump into him and his girlfriend, which is now his wife, just around town. And both of them would get so awkward. She would get beat red when she would see me.
So that makes for good TV.
Yeah.
That does make for good. What about you, Gabe?
I'm rival-less. I'm going to have to put up an ad and be looking for a rival.
Oh, man. You're look for somebody to hate.
Yeah. I mean, you guys let me know. Any of you guys hate me? Let's be rivals.
So I had Clean Rock 1 on my season, and I felt like his rivalry was pretty real. And but as soon as I saw him, you don't know who you're going to be with until they put us all in the hotel and we can't talk to each other, and we're all sitting in the lobby and we weren't even supposed to look at each other. I was like, oh my God, this Clean Rock 1. I looked up to him in the magazines. He I got my magazine coverage, but he blew up in the magazines back in the day, and then. It's for both of us, I feel like this was our second little reboot to pop back off. But I always respected him. And then throughout the whole season, I was like, you're going to win. In my mind, he was just going to win from the beginning. And then he didn't win, and I was like, so the person that won got brought back from a season before. And that was Jason Clay Dunn.
Right.
And then there was a lot of talk that they got paid money to come back. Him and Josh Hubbard. Josh got kicked off for smoking weed. So this is
crazy.
I know, man.
That is crazy.
That was a big debate too.
That's disqualifying a bodybuilder for using, steroids when everyone's on it.
Well, that was part of the argument.
Smoking weed.
They were saying that that weed is the steroid of the art competition world.
No.
You're gonna get too creative.
Well,
This is
one,
acid.
it could help your creativity. Two, it could also help with your anxiety.
Yeah, lower your stress and your anxiety.
And if you have that opportunity to do whatever you want,
We
whenever
want you on full suffrage mode.
That's so great.
Oh, Lord.
They're like, nah, don't let them relax.
So we heard that they got paid like 20 grand to come back. I don't know if that's the real number or whatever, but obviously and I know when you come back from a past season, your numbers go up and you make more money. And so I think that, so when it just kind of all registered at the end, I was like, the guy, and I love you, Jason Claydon, you're a badass tattoo artist, but it did feel like, when the dude that got paid to come back, that they're not going to kick him off in the first episode, right? They have quite an investment in this guy, right? And they were probably sad that they had to lose Josh to him breaking the rules. And so when I first saw that he beat Clean, I was like, he just barely beat me to get it. What felt like he just barely beat me to get into the finale. So I'm like in the last episode, the semifinal with him, and we're battling on parrots. And I thought my parrot was better, and it seemed like the judges liked it better. And then last minute they say his is better, and he's going into the finale, and I'm not. And I was like crushed. So then when he wins, I'm like, well, if he could have won, then that means I could have won.
Yeah.
And I was like, I thought Clean was going to win, but then it's like, okay, now you have this amazing TV personality. Clean Rock won. This like big energy, perfect TV personality. Now what? He didn't win. You get to bring him back.
Yeah.
And then you get to bring him back again. Then you get to bring him back again. And he's like the most he's the most shot Ink Master. Has the most like footage of any other Ink Master.
I would agree. He was in like at least 3 or 4 seasons, right?
Yeah.
It's wild.
So there's obviously some kind of planning. I don't know how much is true if they pre-pick who wins, but I feel like there's definitely something going on,
I don't think they pre-pick who wins, but I do think that whoever the powers that be can sway the competition in any way or form, So I don't think it's necessarily like predetermined, but depending on how it's playing out, I feel like changes are made. They're like, oh, it makes more sense for this to happen.
Yeah, they're persuaded.
Don't you remember a certain someone told us a little secret that she saw in that back room? There was like a whole board of layout of like these are the people who are going to go forward. These are the people that were going to drop out. It was like a storyboard for the entire season.
I will say one thing I did hear Troy Denning say. We were talking about Troy's shop Invisible earlier. So he was a guest judge on one of the seasons before me, and he told me that he didn't like what Tattoo Baby did, and he was going to vote Tattoo Baby off. And they told him, well, Tattoo Baby's like a way too likable person to get rid of her now, and she's like top viewer, so you got to pick somebody else, So I know he was at least told that. He's one of the, I've never really gotten into the head and sat down and talked to Nunez or Oliver Peck about what kind of influences they had, and I'm sure they would have to tell you that they weren't being influenced, but I know Troy told me that don't vote off Tattoo Baby. She's too good for TV.
I think the guest, if the times that they did have a guest judge, I don't think that they would have as much of a pull.
Right.
Then because
I don't think a guest judge is going to make the final decision on who goes home.
Who's going to go home, especially because the producers and everybody else know how everything's playing out, and they're like, oh man, and they probably have that board that you're talking about. They're like, oh, this is how the show's going. They probably have like, these are the 3 possibilities of the way that this could go. If this happens, then we're going to shift to this storyline. If this happens, we'll go this way.
Yeah.
And I'm pretty sure that when they're shooting like, not B-roll, but like when they're shooting like interviews and they're shooting other content, they're getting all of these puzzles that could be placed in any way they choose to be able to tell the story, you know? Like they can make us look like best friends or they can make us look like enemies. It'll depends how the story plays out and what's gonna feel better for them.
Well, the number one question, I'm sure you would get it too, is, oh, is it scripted? And I have to easily say, no, it's not scripted. I was never handed a script.
That's right.
This drama, the drama is just going to happen.
The drama happens naturally.
There's formulas for drama to happen. So there's going to be fights. There's going to be screaming. There's going to be yelling. There's going to be backstabbing because it's all figured out. Like a good example would be 3 of us had to get together in teams of 3. And we would all tattoo 1 hour at a time for a 6-hour piece. So we would take turns and we get to do an hour each and then another hour each. And then it's like you end up with people you probably didn't want on your team because you just got selected. But now you bonded, right? And you had to fight. And it's like the winner is safe. And then the losers have to go upstairs. And now you have to pick on who on your team that you thought did the worst, right? So you just bonded with these people and now you got to stab in the back.
Right.
So it's immediate, like a formula for drama.
Yeah.
Do they ever tell you to, oh, that was really good, but can you say it again just a little bit different? Or do they ever tell you like, oh, that was good, but amp it up. Like, let's shoot that again.
So in their interviews, like he's saying, so we get interviewed and then they can cut to that to kind of like narrate everything that's going on. So we have to talk about almost everything that happened. And then they have a choice of every artist that's left on the show. Oh, I like the way he said it. And he got real dramatic when he just told the story of what's going on right now. And so I actually was an argument I had with Clean. I said, when I would hear Clean, he would be interviewed a lot at the same time as me, and he'd be screaming and going crazy in the room next to me, And I finally, because they would always say, all right, tell me why you like this tattoo. And I'm like, this is a great tattoo, blah, blah, blah. All right, tell me it sucks and why it sucks. And I was like, I just told you it was great. Like, why? I can't even find something wrong with it. No, just tell me it sucks. And I'm like, no, I'm going to pick one or the other. I'll tell you it sucks. If it sucks, I'm not just going to start making shit up. So I asked Clean, I said, do you tell them, say if my tattoo, if you think it's good, would you tell them it's bad? He goes, all the time, bro. It's TV. Who cares? And I was like, really? And I got pretty mad. And he's like, I know you're a good tattooer, man. But if they want me to say it sucks, I'll say it sucks. It's it's part of entertainment. I was like, yeah, but this is also our careers, man. Like you're messing with our careers. Like why would you lie? Or he's like, oh, whatever. And that was the one time that I got pretty mad at him. Because I told him, I said, I respect you and I look up to you more than I look up to these judges. And you're just going to talk shit about my tattoos even when you don't believe it. And so then it was only like, and everyone's always listening. So they know what's going on.
They're hearing everything.
Yes. And so it only took, then the producer comes over to me and he's like, we can't get anyone to go against Clean. And no one's gonna argue with him anymore. And it's hard. Like the dude's like super witty. He has like these amazing comebacks, like these cool, like grandpa, like witty, like comebacks for everything. And he's a super solid tattooer. So how are you gonna argue against this guy, right? It's impossible. And I was like, well, I got something I can keep going and arguing with about. And they're like, cool. And they actually would give me some tequila, and I would I drink some tequila, and they put us in the room.
To get you angry.
And they put me in the room with him, and I picked up where I left off, and I was like, I said, you're a self-absorbed piece of shit asshole of a person, only cares about himself, and I'm not listening to you anymore, and I'm not taking any more advice from you, and I'm just going to do me, and blah, blah, blah. And they loved it. They got somebody like kind of like getting in Clean's face and talking shit. And I'm sure Clean had some way better comeback and told me off, but at least they had that. And but this is the power of editing, right? So now they got that, and then they were able to chop that with another scene completely different where he won, and he was where he won to get into the finale. So it's a big moment. And they're like, all right, the person who's safe that's going into the finale is Clean Rock one. Clean, how do you feel? And all the pressure's on. Like you can see he's getting choked up, and he doesn't want to cry. He's like, just won't talk. And he's like being quiet. And like, come on, Clean, this is a big moment. You made it into the finale. You got these other 3 artists sitting here and you're safe. I was like, say something. And the judges are trying to pull something out of him and he won't talk. All right, let's send him upstairs. Talk to his boy, his homie, Mark Longnecker. He's been broing down with this whole time, waking up early, doing yoga, working out. Of course he's going to talk to him. I would paint with him all night, and it's true. So they commented to tell me, like, you got to talk to him, ask him about his kids, ask him about his dad. I don't know, his dad's in the hospital. I don't know what's going on, So I sit down with him and we're just broing down, having a conversation. I'm like, man, I'm so proud of you. You made it. I was like, how are your kids going to feel? And you can see he's getting teary eyed. He's like, I made these tattoo machines. And I even carved them on the bottom. I said, do it for the kids. And he's like, I love my boys and I want to show them if you work hard and blah, blah. And then I was like, well, what about your dad? And he's like, my dad's in the hospital. And he's like, now he's like crying. And I'm like, oh man.
Oh shit.
So guess what 2 scenes they chopped together? Me saying you are an asshole, piece of shit, self-absorbed person, to him crying. Boom.
Damn. Oh, wow, bro.
Right? So that's the magic of editing. So that's not actually, if you watch all the episodes, you're not going to find it. They actually use that in like the commercials for like next on Ink Master.
That little kind of in-between clip to get you to be like, oh, next time it's going to go down, dude.
Mark's going to make Clean cry. I got to watch next episode.
Shit,
that's so funny.
Would you ever do it again?
I don't think so. I think that ship sailed, and like wouldn't really be interested in competing, but I would love to go back for other stuff. I always think about like Best Ink, right? Like that. They had some good formulas where they would bring out the artist that does this kind of art. And like they would show you, and now you have to do that in the challenge. Yeah. So, I paint a lot of surfboards, and I've painted hundreds of surfboards, and I definitely know how to paint a surfboard. And I think in the tattoo world, if you think of like a surfboard painter in the tattoo world, I would hope that you think of me. And so maybe they have an episode with the challenge like that, and be like, and then I would show them some surfboard paintings and show them how to use the paint pens, and then that would make more sense to me as being more like, this like more seasoned veteran guy as compared to me having to get back down in the pits and fight again.
Back to the fucking grind. Shit, man. Brother, thank you so much for hanging out with us, brother, and kind of sharing your stories and all your experience, because you have a lot of it, man. And most of all, for bringing the Kava.
Yeah.
I'm feeling good.
Good.
It lightens the mood, doesn't it?
It does. It definitely does. And if people want to find you, where do they find you?
So you can follow me on Instagram, Mark Longnecker Tattooing, or just Mark Longnecker, my name. So I'm at Mark Longnecker. Make sure you put the E in there. It's almost spelled like Mark Long and Necker, E-Necker. And then, of course, on all the other socials. And then I have Endless Summer Tattoo. That's endlesssummertattoo.com. And but really, Instagram, if you wrote me on Instagram, I would probably write you back within the next day or so. Really on top of it. If you write me an email, it might take a week. If you write me a snail mail, it might take a couple months. Definitely on the Instagram, I'm very on top of it. I'm constantly posting on there, and I take it like a full-time job. I'm always making cool videos and funny ones, and I have different characters, and I definitely would love people to check out Mark Longnecker on Instagram.
Cool. Fuck yeah, dude.
Awesome.
Excellent.
Anyways, guys, thank you for hanging out with us as always. And make sure you visit Mark, and also make sure that you visit our sponsors. This show is brought to you by Steadfast Tattooing, Tattoo Smart, Tattoo Pro, and by viewers like you.